get ready with me to go to the movie theaters, but I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can start your influencer journey. Okay, step one is you're going to want to give yourself a brand. I'm using concealer as foundation because I like this color, it's light, and my foundation's out. Anyways, so you're going to want to choose your own brand. Don't do Emily Get Ready With Me's for your name, because guess what? There's a million other Emily Get Ready With Me's. And how is one person going to remember this Emily Get Ready With Me while another person remembers this Emily Get Ready With Me? Pick a funny, creative name. Now, like me, I'm just Jonica, which my name is actually a reference to Doki Doki Literature Club and the Random Encounter song Just Monica, which, yes, I'm out saying it. And a lot of people can choose something fun. Now, I don't want you guys to be like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna have my name as just Abby and just Carol and just Emily. Like, be creative. Do something special to keep people engaged in your content. Like, whenever I had around 2,000 followers, I had a thing, I was sure I responded to every single comment. Now that I have almost 80,000 followers, it's kind of hard to do that, but I do try and respond to as many comments as possible. Don't follow people back. Now, I understand you want to make mutuals with everyone because you want to gain more followers, and it seems like a good idea because more followers for you. But in reality, people won't view you as a real creator if you are following too many people. Like, look at my followers. I'm following under 50 people. That's 50 mutuals I have, which is actually quite a lot. Put your email in your bio because that's going to get you PR. Also, make sure to not fall for scams because starting out, you're going to get genuinely a lot of emails. I have a huge spam folder just full of emails of fake offers I'm getting. It'll be like, oh, here's this. You only have to pay shipping. PR is 100% free. You do not have to pay for anything. Also, one thing I recommend, don't do scripted videos. I don't care. I do accept some scripted videos, but it's literally double what I normally want to get paid for ad videos because I like having my own authentic content. If my content isn't 100% from the heart, set on spot, I've made a few scripted videos that were specifically for me. I actually have not done a single scripted ad yet, but that's probably because my rate is so high for those. But also it's because I prefer my content to feel 100% authentic because, you know, that's a huge thing about me. I look like a ghost on camera, but oh well. Don't accept every single person's PR because guess what? Not all of it's good. I know starting out, the best thing you want PR like immediately, and there's going to be some really enticing offers, but it's like, if you have to lie and change your values just for an ad, just to get paid a little bit of money, really, how does it matter? Because eventually if you stay consistent and you keep things up, you will start to make money on TikTok. So why risk lying to your audience for a little bit of money now when you could get a lot of money later? Alright, sorry, I did some fun things with my eyeliner off camera, but anyway, so I'm gonna say, don't use those spammy hashtags that are like XYZABA or ABC or For You page because TikTok's going to see those as spam and not push out your video. Use hashtags relevant to your videos. Like for me, I used hashtag JustJonica, hashtag goth, hashtag gothgirl, hashtag influencer, and then it depends on what I'm doing in that video. If I'm doing like makeup, I do hashtag makeup. If I'm doing skincare, I do hashtag skincare. If I'm being like goth and gothing up, you know, I do hashtag tradgoth or just, you know, something like that. Realistically, it's going to take some time to grow, but if you remain consistent, you're going to grow pretty quickly. Make sure you post at least once a day. I try to post 3 to 5 times a day, but I understand that's not possible for everybody, so at least once a day because TikTok rewards consistency. My videos, they didn't start getting views until I was posting for about I'd say 2 or 3 weeks straight every single day, not giving up by 300 views. Because guess what? 300 views was more than 10 times my audience at that time, and that's a win. Normally, people say if they get a video that goes 3 or 4 times their current follower count, that's crazy incredible. Now imagine you with 10 followers getting literally 300 views on a video. That's 30 times your follower count. Pretty good. Make sure you respond to your fans. If you start getting fans and they make fan videos about you, they post things about you, or they send you messages, respond to them. Now, I don't get to respond to everything. I try to respond to as much stuff as I possibly can, but again, I have a lot of people messaging me, and I try to respond to 10 to 20 message requests a day. I just swallowed that. I try to respond to 10 to 20 message requests a day, but it's also kind of hard to respond to everyone when I have literally thousands of message requests. Also, don't get discouraged. If you think, oh, I only have 400 followers. Imagine 400 people in your backyard. That's enough to fill up an entire neighborhood. Probably someone in there lives in your same state, or wherever you live. I think that's a crazy amount of people. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to hit that follow button. Comment down below if you enjoyed this video, if you want any more tips. Bye loves!
So I'm a camp counselor. I'm in my early 20s. The camp I happen to be at, I think a lot of the camps were children of extremely wealthy people. Like dad's parents would show up in helicopters sometimes, and everybody had a nanny on parents' weekend. 3 people showed up. I did not understand this, and the kids ran to like the third person, not their parents, because it was the nanny. These are just extremely wealthy people, just to set the tone. So we had been at the beach all day, and we came back, and the girls really wanted to get ready for the dance that night. There was a boy-girl dance that night. Some boys were coming over from a boys' camp, and they were all excited. And they all pile into like the shower house because they wanted to get cleaned up and wash the beach off of them. And so I'm off nearby, but in my cabin, I'm not with them. But then all of a sudden I hear like blood curdling screams, like being attacked by a bear or something. Like all the girls, these are young teenage girls, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. So I take off, and one of the girls is like trying, she's like, no, it's okay. And she's like trying to keep me away. And I was like, this isn't okay. Like I need to assess whatever's happening in here. And when I walk into the shower house, there's a girl kind of like, she's like wrapped herself around the curtain, and all the other girls are like, we swear, we won't tell. And they're like, no. And they're like, we have to make a pact. And they're like, these young teenage girls are like trying to make a pact about something. And I was like, I need to know what's going on. And the girl like hiding was like, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. I thought it was a fart. It was an accident. Like, it'll be okay. Like, what's happening? So what had happened was this young lady pooped in the shower in front of all of her friends. It was horrifying. I felt so awful for her. But even before I got there, they were coming up with a plan. There was probably 20 of them in the shower house, and there were even more in that age group. And there was a whole camp full of young girls and older girls and younger girls. And even before I got there, they were trying to come up with like a plan to comfort her. So like, oh, we'll keep it, it'll be a lifelong pact, and we'll keep it between ourselves. And so anyway, so I excused myself so she can get out from the thing, and I was like, just everybody in the girls like didn't want anything to do with taking a shower after this happened, and so they excused themselves, and I cleaned it up. Like I put on protective gear, and I cleaned it. Didn't think anything of it. I cleaned it up, and I did tell the people I needed to tell, like, hey, there was an incident. So I told about the incident and stuff. No big deal. So next day, they had flown in a therapist from New York City due to the situation. What the fuck? So, and they wanted me to speak to the therapist because I was like first adult on scene kind of thing. Like I said, these folks are very wealthy, and I don't think they probably like had ever cleaned their own house, maybe, because like they couldn't, their main concern about me was like, what kind of person must she be that she just had it in herself to clean up this human poo with like no regard. They thought I was a weirdo for cleaning it up. So they needed me to speak to this therapist so he could assess to see if I was a safe person. So he's talking to me, and the owner of the camp is there and stuff, and I'm like, whatever. And I didn't know what was going on at first. He just like asked me what had happened, and I told him what I told you guys, and I cleaned it up. And he's like, so what happened in the decision-making process where you decided that you needed to clean it up? And I was like, well, the young lady was humiliated. I just wanted her to get comforted because that was horrifying for her, and I just had her leave. I wasn't gonna wait until she was calmed down and then bring her back and be like, no, you clean this up anyhow. So, and he's like, so what is it about you that you were okay with cleaning it up? And I said, I've been cleaning out industrial sized hog buildings since I was about 8 years old, so cleaning up a little human poo didn't seem like a big deal to me. And he's just like, pardon me? And I said, I grew up on a huge hog farm, and I've been cleaning out hog buildings since I was a little kid. And I said, like the slop in the hog buildings, it's like under the pins and stuff. I've been cleaning that up since I was little. And so cleaning up a little human poo just didn't seem like a big deal to me. I don't know why this is a big deal. And he's like, okay. They invited me back the next year to be a counselor again. So apparently that was a good enough answer for them. But, that young lady, I don't think they kept the pact very well. I think that got around camp pretty darn quick.
Let's call her Mabel. Mabel has seen suffering. She lost mom when she was young, and the dad left her. Her aunt took care of her, and the aunt was maltreating her. She wouldn't give her food. She was treating her like an outsider. Sometimes she would come to school and her uniform is torn, her sandals torn. She's adjusting. Life was very hard for her. She looked very, very thin. Then she got to JHS. then SHS. After she completed SHS, there was no money for her to continue school. So the aunt told her that she should do something for herself. So she started selling pure water, little by little. Then one time, she decided to change her hustle and sell roasted corn. So Mabel was selling roasted corn one time when a black SUV came to park beside her and was like, "Oh, you're pretty. I want to have your number so that we can talk." So she gave him the number. They started talking, having conversations. The man was a big man. And Mabel, when he started giving her small coins, she forgot herself. Oh, they were meeting from hotels to hotels, sleeping together. Then one time, when they met at one different hotel, this man had a dog. And the man told her that, "I have a fantasy and I want you to sleep with my dog. I'll give you a huge amount of money that you've never seen in your life." Mabel did not hesitate because she had money. Sometimes our greediness can lead us to a path where we can never escape. So Mabel slept with the dog. After that, the man wired her a huge amount of money in her momo, and she left. When she left, she didn't hear from the man again. She kept selling at the roadside, hoping to see him maybe pass by and even have a conversation with her. She didn't hear anything from him. She started having bad dreams of dogs chasing her every evening when she sleeps. When she wakes up, it's like she has wet the bed. Someone who bed wets. Mabel will see herself suffering in the dream, like dogs will be chasing her. There is no day that she doesn't close her eyes and she won't see dogs chasing her. And anytime she wakes up, the bed is wet. It kept going on, and she was losing weight. She kept losing weight. She has gone to hospital. She said she's not feeling well. They will check. They will do all kinds of tests. Still, they don't see anything wrong with Mabel. So one day, her auntie sat her down and asked her, "Mabel, what exactly is wrong with you? Did you do something to anybody for the person to curse you? Because anytime you go to the hospital, they say there's nothing wrong with you. Think, what did you do to someone? Maybe the person has cursed you. Let's go and beg the person so that the person will reverse the curse, because this is not normal. This is not you." Mabel said she didn't do anything to anyone. Till she sat down and she remembered what she did with the dog, and she explained to the auntie, and the auntie was like, "Abomination. What were you thinking? What made you do that?" Love of mullah, money. Then they had to go and see a witch doctor. And the doctor, the revelations. This man, he gives and takes. Whatever he gives you, he takes it from you spiritually. So the dog she slept with was like a form of a ritual that the man does for renewal of his wealth. Mabel gave it away when she slept with him, and gave it away when she slept with the dog. But what was she thinking? Money. So the witch doctor told her that she is a walking dead. There's nothing she can do. This is the kind of work she does for people, but it's too late. If the time she was having the dreams was the day, was the time she came to see her, maybe she would have been able to help her. But to the point of you waking up every morning and seeing that your bed was wet, it means that the water from your system is what they are pulling out of you. That's what is making you lean. So you are just a walking dead. And within some few weeks, Mabel passed away. Quick money.
My husband confessed to cheating and now he's mad at me. I want to preface this by stating I, female 26, am a closeted asexual and my husband, 26, is unaware. We have a kid, until recently. I enjoy doing those favors for him because it's his love language. He's really kind and considerate whenever he's not drinking. Whenever he does drink, he's really embarrassing, loud, and belligerent. He can never just take 1 or 2 shots whenever we go out. Every time we go out, it always ends up with me having to be responsible for him because he's had too much to drink. I've tried to cut him off, but he either ignores me or sneaks alcohol. Yesterday, we went out with our friend group, and it happened again. In the week leading up to my plans to go out, I expressed I didn't want him to come because I didn't want to babysit him. He promised he would relax on the drinking, but did the complete opposite. He kept drinking, and you can guess who was babysitting him yet again. When we got home, he passed out on the couch, and after he sobered up, he came upstairs and tried to initiate with me, and I rejected his multiple advances. He was upset and left for work. I'm considering not telling him about the next time the group goes out so I can actually have fun. Well, I fear that your husband is an alcoholic and that may need some attention. My husband confessed to cheating and now he's mad at me. We've been together over 10 years, since high school. Today he blindsided me with a confession that he cheated on me. He just blurted it out and I didn't react for a while because I was thinking. When I finally responded, I confessed that I've never really desired sex. I knew it was something he really enjoyed and I was prepared to write off having it as a relationship maintenance because I thought I was the only one he wanted it from. I told him I didn't feel hurt and asked him if we could just open the relationship because I want to outsource the sexual aspect of our relationship now that I know he can get it from somewhere else and now he's mad at me. I just want to be clear, I did explain I wouldn't be stepping out on the open marriage because I don't desire sex, but it takes so much pressure off of me to make sure his sexual needs are met if we go with this arrangement. Update 2. He asked if there was anybody else and I busted out laughing and said no. I showed him my Reddit posts and explained, and he's hurt, and I'm angry because I love him and I don't understand why he wants me to continue sleeping with him if I'm extremely mid at it. I don't particularly enjoy it, and he can get better from other people. It's starting to make me feel like he doesn't notice the ways I do show love, and I'm only tolerated because I have sex with him. Edit, just clarifying because people asking we do it every weekday and twice a day on weekends. I'm affectionate in every other way, and sex isn't the only way that I show love to him. I don't just lay there and let it happen. I always ask him what he wants to try, and I try to learn by looking for directions. I'm just not talented, and I am engaged in making him feel good. I realized I'm asexual after being married with kids. I thought you had to have sex in any relationship because that's all I ever heard from elders and peers, so I thought that was the hard work they were saying marriage is. Wait, sorry, the most shocking part about this is that she is having sex every weekday and twice a day on weekends? No days off? Lord have mercy. You need to be getting paid overtime, honestly.
So this is for the corporate boys and girls. Please come to the front. Whenever you're doing your presentations and you're doing your reports or you're going to pitch to an investor, you're going to do your thesis, you are going to speak before a group of people who are well-read, intellectual, so you are not there to insult their intelligence. People who can read through your BS, people who are there because they want numbers, they want facts. Usually it's a tough call. However, you need to have a framework, and my framework is brief. I called it brief. Boardroom ready, you have to be boardroom ready. The conversations that you're going to have, remember we talked about either you use the Minto style kind of presentation or you use the Monroe by Alex Monroe. In the Pinto style of presentation is where you start with your recommendation. Why do you think we should follow the report? Give us one sentence, give us one liner. It could be, let us stop the marketing campaign. That is you summarizing the entire report, the entire reason why we are sat in that boardroom. And then give us examples of why we should stop the marketing campaign. It's because it's not doing well on social media, yada, yada, yada. This is what we encountered. Give us stories. And then now come and give us the data, because you see, data can be boring. But because you've already told us the reason why we're here, your recommendation, and then you've substantiated it, then when you give us the data, like it's boring, but yeah, it makes sense. We can sit through that. We can even sleep, but we already gotten the point. Or you can use the Monroe kind of presentation, but I will tell that to you another day. And then I is for impactful. Remember, it's brief. BR is boardroom ready. I is impactful. Why you? Why are we picking you? Why are you the one doing the presentation? Why not your supervisor? Why not the manager? This is where you show people your brilliance. This is where you bring your A game. This is where you bring your confidence. This is where you let your light shine. This is where you speak for your work, because I know most of you are like, oh, my work would speak for itself. No. What's the impact? What is it about you doing this work? What is it about us doing the work? Could be you, could be the organization. If you're speaking on behalf of the organization, if you're pitching to investors, why is this thing that you're doing, that you're presenting to us, impactful? Why do you think you're impactful? That is a conversation you need to have. Then you can have executive framework, which is EF. So BR is boardroom friendly, I is impactful, EF is executive framework. In the executive framework, you need to have the executive presence and executive voice. Now, I want to sit a little bit on executive voice. Executive voice is where you have presence without performance. It's not about being too arrogant. It's not about how you dress and how loud you are. It's about, especially for you ladies, it's about having soft power. Soft power is when you're soft but you're powerful. It's when you can have poise but also very persuasive. When you have executive voice, you have completed the cycle of brief. And these are the things that you need to know, especially when you're going before people. That's how they buy in the corporate space, because there you can't bullshit people. That is not motivational stuff. You're not selling people ideas, you're selling them transformation. Why should they listen to you and not go and look for the same video on YouTube? Why should they listen to you and not go and find for the information on ChatGPT? It's all about transformation. It's not about knowledge. It's about transformation. What do you bring to the table that will change everything, that will change the scope? Either because you're being cautious or because you're charging forward because of audacity. I mean, why are you stepping into rooms unawares of how you're supposed to be a badass and bring your A game and let people know that, wow, we actually hired one of the best people, or we have one of the best people in our teams, or I need to know you. Nangami, I need to know you. And you see, this is not performance. This aura, this energy, it comes from the inside out. Yeah. Anyway, I have the boardroom narrative lab that is ongoing. The number is on my bio. You reach out to 0715-458-271. Come to the boardroom narrative lab. I know how to have narratives, narrations, conversations specifically for the boardroom. All right? Have yourselves a lovely week. Cheers.
You guys are not gonna like this, but I do need to say this. I have to get it off my chest so badly because it's so obvious. And when I turn out to be right later in the future, I want to have video evidence that I called it. US Weekly added this little tad bit in their segment, Stars Were Just Like Us, right? Where they try to make celebrities relatable. And they tell a story that says Travis tormented his teachers. I got kicked out of preschool, NFL superstar Travis Kelce confessed, recalling when he launched a chair at a teacher who dared suggest he give the other kids a turn during his epic checkers win streak. At least he shows more sportsmanship in football. Anyone with common sense knows that tabloids, for the most part, are kind of a dead media art. So for the most part, when they're used, like tabloids like US Weekly, like In Style, like People Magazine, right? These are directly used by publicists. This is no longer investigative journalism the way that we might have called it in the early 2000s. This is just literally a direct pipeline from people's PR teams directly to the general public. An example of that is that they also wrote this article. When will we be okay with a pop princess like Taylor Swift growing up? An article that they wrote after Taylor Swift got a lot of backlash for her album, some of the themes discussed in her album, where they essentially make her out to be a feminist because it's so amazing and so powerful that she is owning her sexuality, and that the backlash that people have towards her in this album has everything to do with the fact that they don't like it that a woman is sexual. And if you were on the internet, you know that that's obviously not how things went down, right? And they go on the article to call her a feminist and extremely powerful and inspiring. That's coming directly from someone's team. Stay focused on here. This is what I want to focus on. Now, if I had a crystal ball and I had to guess into the future, right? 100% just guess, right? Anybody with an ounce of common sense knows this relationship is going to end poorly. And the reason why is because it's fucking fake, right? Like, that's just what it is. Like, it has to come to an end inevitably because these two people make zero sense together. When it inevitably comes to an end, I think, assumptions, I'm making it up, articles like this and stories like this about him throwing a desk at a teacher, coupled in with some of his actions on the field, right, and getting angry and yelling in people's faces, somebody's team is going to work overtime to make the breakup seem that it was because of his anger issues. They might not come straight out and say it, but I think they're going to heavily imply that she was fearful of him, that he had anger issues and he would get violent, and that's why she's ending things. Whether it'll actually be true or not is an entirely different story, but I'm slowly watching in real time the blueprint being laid out for it, right? She is leaving the Easter eggs for her fans so that when she says it, her fans can be like, well, look at this article. Look at what he did. Remember that one time we read that article about him throwing a desk at a teacher? Let's put out to the world in the context of a funny thing that a kindergartner did, right? Is going to come off to her fans when she inevitably says something as he's had a very long history of violence. It's a funny and quirky story now to share with the world about how relatable he is, right? Like about how he was just a kid who was kind of crazy. Will turn around into he's always been this monster. If she's getting a lot of negative feedback right now, if her fans, a big portion of her fans are suddenly clicking in their head that she's not a person, she's a corporation, and that she's been using them and that she's been exploiting them, right? That she's been using her power and and essentially abusing the parasocial relationship that she's created for them as a way to exploit money out of them. It's finally for the first time ever clicking for them with this album, right? That even though she's been doing this for decades now, it's finally clicking in their head that she's essentially just using them and they're calling her out for it, right? Suddenly her power is coming into right, she's no longer this little innocent victim. Suddenly people are trying to see how truly powerful she actually is and how she is truly just a corporate machine. She will humanize herself again and win them over by making herself the poor little victim. And I think out of fear of a lawsuit, I don't think that she will come out and say it, but I think on her next album, she will very heavily imply that that's the reason that they're not together. She was just a poor little innocent girl who was just so in love and wanted to see the best in him, and he turned out to be a monster that she couldn't escape from. And she's gonna lean into the domestic violence and be like, this is a story that I know other women can relate to. Babe, she's gonna just exploit you again. Get ready for it. The thing about Travis Kelce is that he's dumb, but he doesn't know he's dumb, and that's really a problem. And when it comes to, it's not just him though. I think when it comes to all men, and they decide to go through divorces or like very big breakups like this, but even if they don't get married, this will essentially be like a divorce, right? Because so much of their businesses are intertwined together. Like there is no way to divorce this and to separate it amicably, especially when we are talking about her. Somebody has to be the villain, and she is going to make sure that it is him. And I think that he 100%, like her fans, underestimate how truly evil that woman is and how far she will go to protect her brand. And I promise you, he is going to learn the hard way. There's no way in hell that she's going to leave this breakup and just like, I don't know, it just didn't work out. We just went our separate ways. She is going to demolish him in the public eye. She needs to have an enemy to look sympathetic next to get all her fans back on her side.
I really hope TikTok does its thing here. I came on this app and I began sharing my childhood abuse for the first time and everything that I have said about my father and his conviction to prison for 20 years for sexually abusing me as a little girl. It can all be backed up by certified court documents from his trial and his sentencing. I genuinely want to be a voice for other victims, other survivors. I have been in college for a couple years now to get my own criminal justice degree to really make an impact in the world. And I want to say this. When I was 27 years old, I was sexually abused for the second time. I did go forward with charges in the beginning, but being a survivor already, it was just too much, and I backed down. I just wanted to restart my life, to get my life back together, because the man had taken literally everything from me, my family, my kids. And I've also came on this app to be a voice for the man's deceased wife that he was married to before he met me. He has written a book claiming that her death was a suicide, although it's never been ruled a suicide. The coroner had reservations that morning. Something didn't feel right, and she ruled it as undetermined, pending further investigation. Well, evidence got lost, evidence didn't get taken, and so it's been at a standstill for 8 years now, just a cold case. And the husband has went forward to write a book and talking about his wife's suicide that's never been ruled a suicide. And every time he goes on one of these podcasts, and he talks about how every person that's ever tried to be a voice and stand up and push for justice for this deceased wife, that every one of their voices has been a slingshot for him to slingshot past them, and gave him this national platform for him to promote his book, to make a movie about his wife's death.
They don't have jobs or families, obviously, because all they did was worry about me. I was their life. Yeah, and all they wanted to talk about and all they focused on. Well, that gave us a national platform. So when we launched, that's why the book was worth something. That's why the movie was worth something. All they did was put us on a plane to be able to slingshot past them and rise above them. So their hatred actually was a benefit to us to go above them and help get our message out on what assholes they are.
And although his book doesn't seem to be doing as good as he's claiming on all these podcasts, I'm asking you guys to stand with victims, stand with survivors. I am genuinely asking you to share this message, to stand up against abusers who abuse and use that abuse as power to further themselves. The man talks about how his wife's death has opened up avenues for his children to get a foot into the Hollywood door and have been given all these different roles for movies. I'm genuinely asking you because I have showed you guys evidence of handwritten emails from that deceased wife where she talked about this man abusing her physically, emotionally, and just a month later, after those emails were sent, she was found deceased with a gunshot wound to her head. And I want to say, as a child sexual abuse survivor, never would I grow up and claim that someone sexually abused me that didn't, because if there's one feeling that I never want to feel in the world again, it would be to be sexually abused by someone, because that takes away so much of your dignity. It makes you feel like the smallest person in the world, and I would never want a single person to ever feel that way. So I'm asking you to share my message, share my truth. Let me slingshot past my abuser and be a voice for victims and survivors. I'm asking for your help to support me and my standing up against my abuser and showing all the abusers in this world that we stand with survivors and we don't stand with abusers. This man may have already written a book, but I'm asking you guys to make my platform bigger than his, because I promise you there will be a book of my own one day, one that includes genuine truths. But in the meantime, will y'all please help me get my message out and help me be a voice for those that do not have a voice yet, those that are still afraid to stand up against their own abusers. Because it's not fair that lives are lost, lives are destroyed because of abuse, and abusers get to go on and brag about their abuse. So please help me share this message.
So for you, how did your book shift into being made into a movie?
Ironically, when the book come out, I called a friend of mine, and I've always had some connections into some celebrities. I had celebrity friends. We'll have some great endorsements on there from them. And I called one of them, and he said, "Hey, I stayed up all night reading your book." I hear that a lot. I couldn't put it down. And he said, I know some people. Do you mind if I share it? And I get a call back, and it was purchased by a large movie conglomerate. And since then, and we've had another meeting, and there's a strong possibility it may go to a 12-part miniseries as well.
Oh, wow.
When a female celebrity adds her man into the picture of her creative process, her likability goes down. No matter how good a man is, when you are a woman who is very successful, men are going to leave a stain on anything that you create. Men always have this standard for women, and they always like to say that I have to have a certain caliber of woman because that woman is going to represent me in a certain way. But the reciprocal does not apply when it comes to women. Men do not care in what way they decide to show up, because they don't care about representing you, because it shouldn't matter. Right? Them tainting your success, them tainting your image, it should not matter. And so this is why a lot of women are listening to that Megan Thee Stallion song and it's not really landing well, because really there was no need for her to add a man into her creative process, because we all have pattern recognition and we all understand how this ends up. Putting a man in your creative process is essentially like adding a future traumatic experience to your archive that everyone will be able to listen to and throw back in your face. Because at some point, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but these men that you put up on a pedestal tend to embarrass you at some point in time. And it just gets to a point when it's like, when are women going to realize that the moment that you prop a man up is usually going to be the time that he chooses to embarrass you? And as a global star, as a superstar, you have to put on this happy face and present to everyone a certain way while you're dealing with the whole mechanics of this whole situation that you have going on at home, because you've now propped somebody up that has clearly disrespected you and most obviously has hurt you. And men don't have to think twice about their actions when it comes to embarrassing a woman, because they're already resting on the fact that you invested. You putting a man in your creative process is an investment, because a lot of women do not want to sit with the embarrassment of having to say, oh shit, I put this man in my songs. I've showed that I bought him this. I've showed that I put him on a pedestal just for him to go on ahead and decide to treat me poorly. I'm going to look stupid if I back out now. Allowing a man to be a part of your creative process is an investment that you are making, and men see that. This is a reason why as soon as you put in that investment of pedestalizing them and displaying them in an outward, showy off manner, they're going to embarrass you, because they know that you have put a heavy investment into the situation. You're going to be too embarrassed to want to back out at this point once they do something, because you've already told the world, my man, my man, my man. Whether it's your boyfriend or your husband, leave men in the box that they're in. Leave men in the realm that they belong in. Do not take them outside of that box. Do not start intermingling them and mixing them with other parts of your life that need to be protected. Your creative process is something that needs to get protected. Your what you do for work, that is something that needs to get protected. Men have the ability to taint every aspect of your life. They have every aspect to be able to taint that if you give them the ability to do that by putting them on a pedestal and involving them in that sector of your life. And when you have a creative process and a creative history like Megan Thee Stallion does, where it's always been, F these dudes, I'm independent, I'm a hot girl, I don't need these dudes, I'm gonna go out and wild out and have a good time, you really can't come back from the rebrand of saying my man, and then when that backfires, you go back to saying that I'm a hot girl. If you were a sad girl like Lana Del Rey and then you had a heartbreak, you could just make more songs about your heart being broken. But when you have created your whole entire career based off of you avoiding heartbreak because you are treating men as if they are objects and you are just kind of using men at your disposal, it's going to be hard to come back from you falling for the okie doke and falling in love and pedestalizing a man just for him to embarrass you. And not to mention, the song fucking sucks. Like, it's really not even a good song. She really should have just kept it in the archives, to be honest.
I want to talk about Southern fried rice and the fetish of the humble, dark-skinned, pro-black woman. Oh! I've been wanting to talk about this for a good minute. There is a pattern that is easy to miss if you're not looking for it. It turns up in TV, film, and commercial storytelling. The dark-skinned black woman, she's militant, she's vocal, she's deeply pro-black. And she is given just enough screen time to deliver a sermon about liberation, only to be stripped down, silenced, or humbled by the story's end. This is not representation. This is a performance, and it feeds a fetish, a very specific fetish. In a lot of pieces of media, the dark-skinned woman is the pro-black oracle. She's the one that's calling out the racism. She's standing up to the system and reminding the lighter-skinned characters of their heritage. She carries the weight of political awareness, right? The strong black woman. But now with that dash of consciousness. And yet, her story rarely centers her humanity. Instead, it exists to showcase her eventual softening or humbling. It is the oldest trick in the book, and we're sick of it. This dark-skinned black woman is punished for being too aware every single time. It isn't just lazy writing. It is a cultural fetish. The dark-skinned pro-black woman's downfall satisfies something that's really, really deeply voyeuristic. The audience's need to see this woman put back in her place. Her confidence, her pro-blackness becomes a setup for spectacle. We are currently living in a time that is obsessed with relatability, right? But relatability in media often means palatability. And when dark-skinned black women are allowed to be pro-black, we must also be palatable. And what does that mean? That usually means the story finds a way to make them cry, apologize, or admit that their anger was misplaced. People ask me all the time, why aren't you pro-black? Oh, you're not pro-black? Yeah, no. Dark-skinned black women are punished for being pro-black. We're told to chill out and humble ourselves when we're doing the exact thing that has been asked of us. This especially happens in the presence of non-black people and even light-skinned people. Suddenly, the pro-black dark-skinned woman is too much in the presence of others. The industry will call it a character arc, right? And I've seen people pushing back on criticisms of Southern Fried Rice, saying, oh, it's just a character arc. It's just a character arc. It is degradation. It is a coded performance of humility to make everyone else comfortable. It is the social conditioning of humility repackaged as cinematic catharsis. It keeps audiences addicted to the spectacle of black containment. There is satisfaction in seeing the powerful black woman bow her head. Well, we're over it. Black women in media are allowed to be other things. Right? Do y'all know that? So, no, criticisms of Southern Fried Rice are not anti-intellectual. They come from years and years of having to see the same shit peddled to black audiences over and over and over and over again with a different skin. I haven't seen the show, but somebody even said that the black best friend is like pregnant and had to drop out of college. I'm not going to watch the show. Why? Because I get secondhand embarrassment very easily. And I'm not going to put myself through that. I trust black women. But if you have seen the show, what do you think about it?
Story time. In 2016, there was this guy, let's call him Kweku. Kweku was in SHS and he wanted to get money by any means. He would do anything. Any way they tell him this is where money is, Kweku would do it. He would skip school. He would go to town with his friends. He didn't do assignments. He didn't care. Whatever they tell him, passes here and use the other exit. He doesn't listen to any advice. Kweku wanted to be rich so bad. So in SHS2, he dropped out of school and he joined some gang. And they went in search of money rituals. And according to where they went to, it was a very far place. Mind you, Kweku was living in Swedro. Back in 2016-2015, there, anybody that hears the name Swedro is automatically frightened. So they went to a very far village and then they were each given something to use. And Kweku was asked to sleep in a coffin. Now I'll come back to explain how we know all of these things. So Kweku did all that he was asked to do. And there were 5 friends. They went to do the rituals. One of them died. After they went back to meet the priest told them that when they are coming for certain things like this, normally the one whose spirit is not strong will take the 4, as in indirect sacrifice for the 4 of them to get the money. So one of his friends was the weak link, so he had to go. Now all of them were given different types of assignment and they all had a way of sacrificing. One was asked to sleep with a madman. The other one too had a sore on his leg and he was asked to sleep with his mother. The third one, his own is to be bringing girls to the house and sleeping with them and then exchanging their glories to be getting more money. And for Kweku's own, his own was to sacrifice goat every first month at a riverside. And his was weird. He was given a punishment, which I don't know why. For Kweku, he was not supposed to have a child. any day he has a child, when the child comes to this world, Kweku is going to die. Kweku was enjoying life. Kweku had money. Kweku has started building. Kweku was going out, having multiple girlfriends. He was, changing girlfriends all the time. Till one time, he met one lady and he wanted to be committed to the lady. One thing I'll say is the devil will never give anything for free. They know that one day you will think that the tax they have given to you is something normal, but there will come a day where there is nothing you can do. You will have to do something to go against it, then they will use it against you. Kweku met this beautiful lady and they dated for 2 years. Anytime this lady gets pregnant, they have to abort it. Because remember, I told you, the day the girl gives birth is the day Kweku is going to die. Now he has the money, he has the luxury, he has everything. He takes his friends out. Whenever they ask him to, he had one friend that was pressuring him to show him the way, who was still in school. Kweku will always tell him that, no, you don't want to know what I went through to get to this point. So Kweku was enjoying life with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend didn't understand. You have money, you have everything, and I want to have a child. Your parents know about me, your family know about me. Why can't I give birth? Kweku was like, no, I'm not ready. Years passed. Now he sat down and analyzed himself. He was given some number of years to live. So he doesn't have any child of his own, and he has everything, all the properties. Now Kweku decided to start disobeying the deity that gave him the money. He got his girlfriend pregnant and he told her to keep it. He was scared, but he didn't tell her the whole story. When the girl was 9 months and was due to give birth, that was when Kofi called his friend that was still in school and explained the reason why he didn't want to show him the way. This is what he did, and this is what his friends are doing now. And this was what he was told not to do, and he has disobeyed it, so he knows his days are numbered. But these are the properties. I am giving the property in the name of my wife and my kid. Sorry. Normally here in Ghana, if a woman goes to stay with a man, they call her, she is automatically his wife. So let's say his girlfriend. So his girlfriend is going to will everything to them. Going to give his friend to something to start with. But he didn't want to let the friend take the same route he took. Ladies and gentlemen, the day his girlfriend delivered their baby boy was the day he died. And the family decided to drag the girlfriend, that the girlfriend was the one that killed him, because it doesn't make sense. The same day she delivered is the same day he died. They sacked the girl out of the house. They took everything from the girl. And the day they were doing the funeral, where Kweku went to, his people came to claim the corpse. That was when other people came to find out that this was what he was doing when he was alive. When you sell your soul to the devil, you sell your body to when you die. So his family bought coffin for nothing. They couldn't bury him themselves. The people came to carry the body away. Fast money. Nothing is for free. Let's all be guided out here.
A restaurant skit. Hi, welcome to Restaurant. My name is Courtney. What can I get you started with tonight? Hi, yeah, we're all gonna get waters, 3 adults, 3 kids, and then it's gonna be mom, kid on 1 check, mom, kid on 1 check, and you guessed it, mom, kid on 1 check, 3 checks, please. All right, sounds great. I'll get this started. And mom waters, kids waters. Do we have any questions? We ready to order? Yeah, we're just ready to order, so everybody's ordered, and yeah, just remember it's gonna be 3 checks. I haven't forgotten in the last 90 seconds, but it is some days like bubble wrap up there, so we'll find out what pops out later. I'll be back. All right, ladies, my goldfish brain pulled through and I have 3 checks. So 1 and 2 and 3, and I'll be back in just a moment to take those for you. Get a sweet tea? Perfect. And are you ladies ready to pay? There is nobody here. Awesome. Let's make sure they didn't run out on the checks. And looking at the register, and there they are. Hey ladies, I just went to the table. I thought I lost you guys. Well, we brought our checks up front because we weren't sure if you were like coming back or anything. So I did say I would be right back for this, but yeah, absolutely. As long as they're paid, right? That's what's thumbs up. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Courtney, real quick. I'm the hostess and I'm wondering what's going on with table 20 because we're on a wait now and I really need to sit it. Oh, table 20's been paid out forever, so go ahead and seat me, daddy. Nope. Nope. Very well, it still says you have a check open. Oh, so annoying. Let me pull up my handheld and yep, one of them didn't pay, the one who was directing the whole thing. So, there's her friends. I'm just gonna go ask them where she is, okay? I'll be right back. Hi, ladies. I was just wondering never mind. She is back there playing cornhole. Okay. Hi, ma'am. Yes, real quick, I was your server up there at the table and I was just wondering if you could go pay your bill for me. Okay, you can see we're having fun out here, okay? I'll get to it when I get to it. Obviously, I didn't run off. Yes, ma'am, I understand, but I do have a table sat there now and I need to be able to open up that table so I can put their order in. So I just need to clear you guys out and 2 of the tickets were paid, so I just need your last ticket to be paid so I can wait on other people. Okay, well, I'm still on the property. I'm just having fun with things that you guys provided for me, so... Okay, but you were also the one that was standing in line who told me you guys were paying up there and you were the only one who didn't pay? Make it make sense. Okay, well, I was buying something from the gift shop for my little Timmy. I mean, yeah, I had to stand in line the whole time and I could have just paid this while I was there, but that would have made sense, wouldn't it? Yes, ma'am. In the history of me working here, I've never had someone just come start playing the games and not take care of their tab first. So if we could get that taken care of, that would be great because I do have people that have already been waiting on the wait list that are now waiting at the table for this table to clear out, which is your ticket because your friends have already taken care of theirs. It's just you we're waiting on. Fine. Look, here's my card. You can go ahead and run it. It's really tacky, just so you know, you chasing me down over here. You know what else is tacky? Having to chase down a grown-ass adult to make them pay their bill, but here we are. So back to you. Go ahead and sign for me right there. Awesome. All right. You know what you can have? Let's say it together. You can have a day.
Join the live and comment LeBron James.
I hate having to get on the internet and explain fucking common sense, simple things to people, but it seems like a fucking necessity, right? So when they say, hey, Donald Trump, you need congressional approval to accept gifts from other countries, and he said, fuck that, why wouldn't I accept the fucking Boeing plane? This shit is awesome. And fucking taking the plane, fuck your approval. Keep that in mind, right? So they said, hey, why not just declare war on Venezuela? You need fucking approval from Congress to declare war. He said, you know, we're not going to do that. We're just going to kill him. We're just going to kill him. 43 people have been reported dead from the fucking boats the United States of America is blowing up, claiming they're drug boats and presenting no evidence behind it. Is that not a war crime? I'm sorry, but I'm pretty big on definitions because that's like concrete. That's like factual. That rarely changes, you know? Is that not a war crime? Hey, we blew up this fucking boat. And before y'all get mad and come at us and act like we're in the wrong, just know that it's a drug boat. And we say, okay, just prove that it's a drug boat. And we agree, like, we don't want drugs smuggled into our country to affect our citizens. We don't want harmful drugs smuggled anywhere ever. Cool. Blow them to fucking smithereens. Okay. No evidence. Same way they say, oh, these fucking Chicago, DC, San Francisco, Portland, this war zones. They need ICE in the National Guard. And then you pull up the video, it's people in fucking inflatable frog costumes dancing in the middle of the fucking street. I told y'all this, I don't know how many fucking months ago. That's all they do. They need an excuse to be fucking evil. This place is overridden with crime, so we're going to send these guards here. This place has a bunch of drug smugglers, so we're going to blow their boats up. There's a white genocide in South Africa, so we're going to bring in these almost 60 white South Africans that Elon Musk definitely has nothing to do with. He definitely didn't cherry pick these specific people to come over to America. But to save them from the white genocide, It's a bullshit reason that they literally cannot provide evidence for. And then inexplicable action behind it. And the worst part of that, the biggest part that confuses us all, is there's no consequence or punishment for them after the fact. The 2020 election was rigged. Okay, we want free and fair elections. Donald Trump proved that the 2020 election was rigged. 5 years later, nothing. Still bitching about it. Prove it. The way they're saying it so confidently, and to where it seems like you couldn't argue it even if you had substantial evidence to argue it. They say it so boldly and so confidently, you would think they would have a mountain of evidence to pull from. Just go grab anything, go grab a pebble from that mountain of fucking evidence and prove what you're saying. They never do, because these are evil, hateful, racist, prejudiced, corrupt, inhumane, immoral people that understand the level of backlash that will come if they just come out and say, fuck y'all and them rules and them laws and that constitution. We gonna do this. We don't like these people and they're gonna suffer. We like these people. They're gonna suffer too, but we're gonna lie to them so only this close circle benefits. And here's a mountain of lies as to why we're gonna do that. Republicans are disgusting. Republicans are pitiful. Republicans can't hold their own in a fucking debate, in a fucking argument. Republicans claim to be adults, but then when you sit them the fuck down and you just want to have a fucking conversation or a debate or an argument and you want them to present facts and logic and evidence and things like that, then they start the gaslighting and the pointing fingers and the, well, y'all did this so we can do that and we did this so yada yada, back and forth, pointing fingers. If two people set the house on fire, one isn't fucking correct because they did it after the fact. I hate y'all.
Tess and Claudia leaving Strictly. No, I'm sorry, this was not on my bingo card. So yesterday, Tess Daly and Claudia Winkleman posted statements on their Instagram accounts. I'm going to read them both to you. Let's start with Tess's. To my Strictly friends and family, after 21 unforgettable years, the time has come to say goodbye to Strictly Come Dancing. It's hard to put into words what this show has meant to me, so here goes. Strictly has been more than just a television programme. It's felt like having a third child, a second family, and a huge part of my life since that very first show back in 2004. I knew then it was something special, but I could never have imagined the magic it would bring. Strictly has always been about joy, celebration, and bringing people together, and I'm so proud to have played a small part in something that continues to mean so much to so many. From that very first series, I had the great honour of standing alongside the incomparable Sir Bruce Forsyth. Brucey set the tone for everything that Strictly became: warmth, wit, connection, and pure showbiz magic. I've always been in awe of our superbly talented professional dancers, our magnificent judges, and all the celebrities who have taken part. I absolutely adore our brilliant crew, every single member of the Strictly team, who have worked so tirelessly to make this show what it is. You are the very best in the business, the kindest, most fun, most loyal, and definitely the hardest working team in television. Thank you for the laughter, the friendship, and the countless memories over all these years. You filled my heart in ways I'll never forget. I'll miss you all so much. And to you, the viewers at home, the biggest thank you of all. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes for over 2 decades. Your love, loyalty, and unwavering support have meant the world. You've carried us through every series, and that has never ever been taken for granted. You are the heart of this show, and I feel so lucky to have shared it with you. Being a part of your weekend from September to Christmas for the past 21 years has been one of the greatest joys and privileges of my career. To my beloved Claude, what an absolute joy and pleasure it has been sharing this adventure with you. You're one of a kind, and I'll treasure every giggle, every live show, and every backstage moment we've shared. I'm so grateful to have you as my friend for life. This isn't a goodbye to glitter sequins or Saturday night sparkle. I could never say goodbye to those. Strictly will forever hold a special place in my heart, but it does feel like the right time to hand over the reins. With all my love and endless gratitude, Tess. Craig Revel-Horwood commented, it will never be the same. Motsy commented saying, I'm reeling from the news, Tess. You've left me speechless and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Sending you love and best wishes. Your absence will be deeply felt on Strictly. What an end of an era. Okay, and Claudia's statement says, it's very difficult to put into words exactly what Strictly has meant to me. It's been the greatest relationship of my career. From working on It Takes Two in 2004 until now, it has been my everything. The show I will be eternally grateful for. I will never forget Len Goodman trying to teach me what a cucaracha is, I still don't know, and the complete thrill and honour it was to work with Tess on the results show to co-hosting on Saturday nights. Strictly is a magical, glittery, fake tan train, and it's been a privilege to be a tiny part of it. The extraordinary talent of the dancers, the band, the hair and makeup and costume teams, the unbelievable production crew and creatives, all utterly amazing. I've always believed it's best to leave a party before you're fully ready to go, and I know the new hosts will be magnificent. I look forward to watching them take Strictly to new heights. As for Tess, I'm so lucky I get to stand next to you. You're funny, kind, whip smart and a true friend, and I love you. Right, call me a cynic because I would love to know if you guys agree in the comments, but do we think that they were pushed to leave, or have they both decided that now is the time for them to go? I mean, look, if they're happy, I'm happy, but I'm just going to miss them so much. And who do we think the new hosts are going to be?
Oh boy, did you guys see Britney Spears this weekend at the restaurant? I can't even watch her Instagram videos because I get such a creepy vibe from it all that I just don't want to read what she has to say. I don't want to see her near fleshiness. I don't want to see it. But this was posted, I guess, on TMZ. I want you to look at her friend. I need to talk to the waiters. Call me. DM me.
Recording right now.
Where's my screen? I think it's blurry.
It is blurry, Peach. Diaper booty. So what do we have? We've got Britney Spears at a restaurant messing around with things that she probably shouldn't be. We've got her with dirty hair, a strange hat on, and a weird outfit. A dirty outfit. One that looks like it was picked up off the floor that a 13-year-old would wear. Now, the rumor going around is that she is on something that rhymes with Seth. And that she was not eating a cookie, she was doing Seth in the car when she did that whole whip around thing. If I was gonna look at the friend that she had with her, that tracks. That woman looked like she found her on the street. Looked like a homeless person doing tricks on the corner. They look so horrendous. That is no more can we say that is a star, a celebrity, a full-fledged pop star. No, that is a sad lady of the night. It's off. She is completely broken, and I don't know if there's any coming back. But the friends she's got around her look very similar to Amanda Bynes' friends that she has around her. Patterns.
This video is for all my fellow 90s babies, so if you're not a 90s baby, you could keep scrolling. Okay, is it just us? Did y'all's mothers ever tell you as little kids that if you lied, you would get a lie bump on your tongue? Well, there's a video that's pinned at the top of my profile. It's one with like 500,000 views. And in that video, it's me talking about my first forensic interview where my sisters and I had came forward with allegations that my father had been raping us for the past year and a half when I was 11 years old. And when I was reading that forensic interview, I thought it was just so funny because when the evaluator asked me what were the consequences of telling a lie, I told him that you would get a lie bump on your tongue. My mom would always tell us that if we lied, we would get a lie bump on our tongue. And I believed her because every now and then I would get like this small little singular little bump on my tongue, and I always thought it was from maybe telling a fib because as little kids, we all tell fibs. We didn't get into the cookies. I didn't do that. That was my sister. I ask all this because I think I got a freaking lie bump. Now, I can't think of any recent lies that I've told besides maybe I fibbed about the reason I was running late for work the other day. But are we really out here getting lie bumps for telling little fibs? Or what is this actually on my tongue? Because I think maybe I got a lie bump. Take a look. Maybe you'll be able to see this, but is that a lie bump? If this isn't a lie bump, can somebody tell me what this is? Because I've gotten these since I was a little girl, as long as I can remember, and they only come up maybe like once every couple of years, and it's just like that one little singular little bump, and it hurts really bad, especially if you bite on it. You maybe can see it from here. One last thing, did your parents do this? Every time that I knew I was in big trouble, like my mom and like even my papa, my whole family would do this. They would, and they bite their knuckle really hard. And what made me even know more that I was in trouble is because they would always include the middle name, and it would be like, Christy LeRae. Like they would bite their knuckles so hard. I'm surprised that they didn't bite their damn knuckle off. Now, I know my family's like really weird and stuff. I mean, a lot more out there, crazy than most families. But does anybody relate to this, or was this just my weird, crazy freaking family?